Well, hello there. No, okay, sorry. This cannot be how I return to YouTube. What's up, friends? My name is Jess, and I did not expect to be saying that again. If any of you watching recognize my face and used to watch my videos back in the day, you must be shocked as hell, because it's been like 3-4 years since I last posted a video. I think I disappeared off of the face of YouTube in mid 2022. But I'm back with a new channel name and, more importantly, a new, better mindset. I gotta be honest, if you're new to my videos and you've never seen any of them from, this pre-revival, which is what I'm calling it, and then this first part of the video is just gonna be boring to you unless you're interested in the ramblings of my first booktube experience. If that doesn't sound like your jazz though, I would recommend just skipping to the section on my bookish goals, which you'll be able to see in the chapters of the videos. Just follow that. For those of you who have stuck around for my rambling though, I'm going to assume that most of you were probably watching my videos back when I was posting in 2020 to 2022. And while I don't owe anyone an explanation for why I stopped participating in a hobby, I do have enough love in my heart for the wonderful and supportive people that I met through BookTube to at least want to give an explanation, just in case they were wondering what happened to Jess. Why did I disappear off of BookTube and all of my book-related social medias? The oversimplified answer is just burnout and anxiety, which I feel like is the answer for anybody who's doing social media and then just disappears out of the blue. Really, the important thing to know about me is that I have never been chill about a single thing for a single day in my life. And I don't mean that in a fun and passionate kind of way. I mean that in I got diagnosed with anxiety kind of way. And it makes having a hobby kind of hard sometimes. More than anything, when I joined YouTube, I wanted it to be, yes, a creative outlet to challenge me, but more than that, I wanted it to be a fun, lighthearted hobby for me to indulge in. So I didn't want it to stress me out. I didn't want it to feel like a job. I didn't want it to feel like an obligation, some kind of expectation, another thing where I could fail, And that is what it became. Because again, I don't know how to be chill about anything. I would try to control myself. I would try to maintain a healthy balance and only do things for BookTube when I really felt like doing them. But I have always struggled with feeling if I'm going to do something, I'm going to be great at it. I have to be great at it. The mentality of if you're not going to be amazing at something, then it's not worth doing, which anyone with a fully developed brain can tell you that's a really unhealthy approach to life. But that's where I was stuck. I had such unhealthy high standards for myself, even while I was trying to make sure that BookTube wouldn't be the end all be all of my life. I got too wrapped up in the numbers. I was trying to pump out content because everyone was saying that frequent and consistent uploads really helped with the algorithm. And yes, it does. As a person, I do a regular schedule anyway, but I was taking it too far. For the sake of trying to adhere to this arbitrary schedule, which I set for myself, I was reading books at a faster pace than I really would have liked. I was reading books that I didn't like or wasn't interested in reading in the first place. And I was rushing through the editing process. A big part of my dissatisfaction with my experience on BookTube was because not a lot of my videos met my standard of quality. And a part of that is inevitable because at the moment I'm not really interested in upgrading any of my equipment. For anyone who's wondering, I'm filming on my iPhone 12 Pro Max and I do have a Blue Yeti microphone, and I am doing the really awkward thing of holding my Blue Yeti in my lap versus placing it on a surface, because the only surface that's convenient for placing it on is my desk, and it's creating a weird humming noise. I don't know, and that's really not the point of this video. The point is, it's inevitable that my videos aren't going to exactly meet my standard of quality because I don't have the equipment to do cinema level production or something like that, and that's just completely unreasonable, and I don't think anyone watching a BookTube video really cares regardless. More than the equipment though, a part of the reason that I wasn't satisfied with my videos is because I was cutting corners in my editing process or my filming process for the sake of expediency. It was just so frustrating. Part of the reason that I wanted to do YouTube is because the skill set needed to be a YouTuber and to put out good videos is a skill set that just interests me on a personal and professional level. And my background lends itself towards being able to produce better quality stuff than I was producing. I think I've mentioned this on my channel before. I went to school for journalism, and a part of my journalism degree did involve having to edit a few videos. I took a whole course on podcasting and audio editing. I took graphic design classes. I was a graphic designer for a couple of years. Not a good one. Okay, not a good one. I don't know that I really should have qualified for that level of design, but I was on paper a graphic designer for a couple of years. And now for my current job, I edit videos all the time. It's a skill set that I have experience with. It's one that I've enjoyed in the past. It's one that I really want to improve. All of the cutting corners and expediency problems that I was having when I was first doing BookTube meant that I didn't spend enough time developing the things that I wanted to develop. I was just trying to get stuff out and not really asking myself if I was happy with the stuff that I was getting out. I will say one of my favorite videos that I've put out was my Battle of the Vampire series, and I'm gratified that that video is still my most popular video to this day. That was a situation where I was reading books that I wouldn't have read otherwise if it weren't for this video, but I did have fun in this scenario. Those books were so bad in a funny way, and I had so much fun filming the video too. I think that video was probably the most comfortable I have ever been on camera for any of my past videos, which I think is why you got some of the funniest commentary out of me in that video. In a lot of my other videos, I was reserved, I was shy, I was awkward, and I would get stage fright being in front of the camera. But a part of the reason that I felt so much anxiety during my first run of BookTube, and this is leading to another major thought I had about BookTube, is that I felt like a fraud. I know that sounds like such an overdramatic statement to make about a hobby. I just felt like I hadn't read enough books to give good, solid recommendations, or the books that I had read and could recommend were super basic books. They were the really popular books that everyone on BookTube had read, and so everybody was talking about them or had already talked about them years ago, because I'm big on reading backlist books as well. But my mindset on that has shifted, okay? I'm not chaining any of you to my videos. I'm not forcing anyone to watch my videos or anyone to take my recommendations. So frankly, it's not my problem if someone is upset that my recommendations are too basic or they've already heard about that book before and I didn't provide anything new. I just had the realization that I've heard dozens of booktubers talk about the same books over and over and over again, and it's never bothered me then, I've always kept watching the videos anyway because I like the person, or they might give me other recommendations, or I just need background sound, a whole host of reasons. And I've realized that there are books where I've heard 7 people talk about the same book, and the first 6 times it didn't interest me, but the 7th person who talked about it in such a way that I was like, yeah, actually I do want to read that. So why on earth was I holding myself to such a strict professional standard that I wasn't holding anyone else to? I'm not out here trying to be a super professional book reviewer or at the forefront of new books or anything like that. I'm just trying to have fun, and I'm just trying to talk about the books that I've been reading. Anyway, this is a long-winded way of saying that I had a love-hate relationship with BookTube, and I just wasn't enjoying it the way that I wanted to enjoy it, so I just stopped. And then, because I have a tendency to run away and hide when I have negative emotions, I also stopped using Twitter. So the question is, how is this revival any different? How do I know that I won't fall into the same negative thinking that I fell into before? And the answer is I don't know. I might try doing BookTube again, and I might find that it still doesn't suit me. The only thing I can know is that it most likely will not be for the same reasons that it didn't suit me last time. Everything about me is healthier now. I have maybe less anxiety, definitely more coping skills. I have less depressive episodes. I'm more physically active. I'm eating better. I'm more comfortable at my job. I have clearer skin. That one's not true. I do not have clearer skin. My skin peaked at 19 and it's kind of just been slightly downhill ever since. But I'm in overall a better place. I think I just have a better mindset now. A part of that mindset is having a less of a fuck to give, about what the numbers are, about what other people want to see versus what I want to do. I just frankly don't have the energy or the time to dedicate to doing things that I don't want to do. And I'm much better now at determining what it is that I want to do. This mindset will apply to the kind of videos that I do. Back then, I used to just do videos because they were the videos that everyone was doing at that time. Like BookTube back in that era was inundated with tag videos. And don't get me wrong, I like a tag every now and then. I think they can be very fun. But I was doing those tag videos all the time because everybody was doing them. People were tagging me in a bunch of them. And I was using it more as a filler rather than because I thought the questions would be fun to answer. I'm also sick of forcing myself to do vlogs when I'm way more of a sit-down video kind of girl. It's not that I never want to do vlogs. I have a few vlog concepts that I think would be fun to do. I just find that filming quality vlogs is way harder to do with the equipment that I have. And so when I would film them, they would turn out to be like some of my lowest quality videos and some of the videos that I felt the most insecure about. I want to be able to love every video that I put out, or at least strongly like every video that I put out. I just can't be bothered to make filming harder for myself just to give the illusion of something different. So if you notice me wearing the same exact outfit in like a couple back-to-back videos or something like that, or you notice that I'm wearing an outfit that doesn't match the weather of the time that the video was posted, mind your own business, okay? Filming videos right before the time that you want to post them does not leave a lot of time for editing, and it's better left to better booktubers than I who need less sleep to function. Basically, things are different now because I'm more intentional about asking myself what I'm enjoying and not doing things that I don't enjoy. And I'm being a lot kinder with myself regarding the quality of my videos in terms of like audio or lighting or those things that just can't be improved upon without better technology. I've never stopped watching a YouTuber just because they have like low lighting or they maybe have a weird echo going on in their videos. Like that's never been the reason why I've stopped watching somebody. Oh, and also the name change. So if you're new here, my channel was formerly called Verity Books, and I still love that name. I have loved the name Verity ever since I read Codename Verity back in like 2015 is maybe when I read it. I'm not sure. Unfortunately, Verity by Colleen Hoover is the more popular Verity, and it frankly has ruined the name for me, at least in terms of marketing. And it's so unfair too, because I'm pretty sure the book Codename Verity predates Verity by Colleen Hoover by like 8 years or something. It came first. The inspiration for my original channel name came before Verity by Colleen Hoover. However, if you look up Verity book anywhere, that's the thing that's going to come up. I just don't want people to see my channel name and assume that that was the inspiration for it. I'm not trying to be a hater, but I'm definitely not a fan of Colleen Hoover. I also wanted a channel name that was clearly bookish, but not bookish exclusive. BookTube is my first love. The vast majority of the videos that I would be making and putting out are going to be BookTube videos, but I do other things in life, and I think there's potentially some non-book related content that I think would be interesting. So I just wanted something more flexible. I also wanted to be able to use my own name, which is so hard to do when you have a name like Jess. Pretty much every good channel name involving Jess, Jessie, Jessica, whatever, has been taken. The story of Jess was available, and I think it suits me pretty well. And now we're on to the final portion of the video. I am so sorry to whoever chose to sit through what essentially amounted to a rant. I'm sure you came to this video just wanting to hear some BookTube goals. So here are my general goals for the year. 1, posting a video every other week. Does this seem a little counterintuitive considering what I just talked about? Yes, but that's not what I'm doing here. If I don't have a video that I'm happy with ready every other week, then I just simply won't post anything. But in an ideal world, I would be posting a video every other week. My second goal is to experiment more with my video editing, especially using Adobe After Effects. Now, I'm not going to do anything crazy, okay? My YouTube videos, they're just about books. This slice of YouTube does not really lend itself to doing crazy, wild stuff in terms of editing, but I did get to experiment with Adobe After Effects while doing editing for my job, and I have really enjoyed it. The little animations that I've created for work have been very basic, but I loved it, and I loved every second that I spent creating it, even when I was banging my head against a wall trying to figure something out. So I would love experimenting with it more on my personal time. Goal number 3 is to get my unread books to like 5 max. And this isn't as hard of a goal as it would be for like some other booktubers who have so many unread books on their shelves. All of my unread books are housed on this shelf right here. And I want to say it has like, I don't know, 40. What makes this goal hard for me is that the majority of the unread books that I have are not in English. The majority of them are in Spanish, which isn't super hard because I do speak Spanish fluently. My family is from Cuba. While I speak Spanish fluently, I didn't actually start reading Spanish until high school, I want to say. It was just never something that I was taught to do very well. So reading my books in Spanish, it just takes a whole lot more time and effort than reading a book in English, obviously, because the dialects are different. There are so many words I would have to look up because I've just never had cause to learn them in the first place. I also have a couple of books in French, which obviously way harder. Although I did study French for like enough years to have some proficiency in reading it, but it's just going to be like a lot of effort to do. But I mean, while we're at it, reading more books in Spanish is another one of my goals. I want to be able to read as well in Spanish as I do in English. I learned both of those languages at the same time growing up, and just English got ahead because that's what all of my schooling and all of my television and all of my movies and all of my books were in. And every now and then that bothers me, especially when I start thinking about like the world of stories that would be open to me if I could read Spanish better than I do right now. And my 5th goal is unhauling more books. For the past few years, I've been making a concerted effort to reread a lot of the books on my shelves and reflect on them and ask if like like these are books that I still enjoy, if I feel like they still reflect me and who I am and what brings joy to my life. If you're an old viewer of mine, you might remember my Purging My Shelves series, which were videos where I would reread some of the books on my shelves and decide whether or not I was unhauling or keeping them. I've kept up with that since leaving BookTube, and I think I've done a really good job of unhauling books, but we still have a long way to go. My goal of getting my unread books down to 5 is somewhat related to that, because I mean, they're taking up a bunch of space, and these are books that I don't even know if I like. To that end, you're probably going to notice me doing a lot of rereads, which does mean reading a bunch of older books. For right now, I'm gonna keep my goals list short and sweet. I just want to get back into it. BookTube is something that I've loved since like 2011. Whenever BookTube started, really, I've been there since the beginning. And it's something that I've tried to do more than once, and it's just never stuck. And I've regretted it every time that I've given up. So third time's the charm. Anyway, I feel like I've yapped enough for what should have been a simple goals video. I hope you found some entertainment in all of the things that I was talking about. If you're interested in showing me some support, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. None of you are new to YouTube. You know how it works. And if you don't want to do any of that, that's totally fine. I hope my videos show up in your feed again. And if they do, I hope you feel inclined to click on that video. Until the next one. Bye.